My name is John Forde. I'm 76. I'm from Woodquay, which is only up the road, also known as Bara Chala, which means the top of the quay, instead of wooden quay. And my parents bought a house there in 1949 for £1,350, which is a lot of money. And we're there. Well, my brother is still there since. I live out in Salt Hill now. But I'm in around here because it's still home to me. I like coming down because I'm a member of the Galway Rowing Club and the Commercial Boat Club where we are right now. And it's just a nice place to be, especially if it's a nice, fine summer's day. I still come down and swim in the river, out to the pillars that I showed you earlier on, and then Blackrock, and my grandkids come down swimming. But Galway and Woodquay has changed an awful lot. Where Lidl is now out there in the heavy road, that was the end of the city as I knew it. All that was there was just open fields and allotments. During the war, the corporation gave strips of land to all the people around there, and they grew all their own vegetables. And there was plots down there, and out in the Dyke Road, there was little plots of land. And then they gradually started building out down there. There was a ballroom down there first. What was the name? Tops of the Town. The ballroom was first. Where Lidl is now was a ballroom. Went quite well for a number of years, and then it just petered out. And then they had a garage there, and now you have Lidl and all that. And then you have all the other development that went all out that road there. But before, there was only the small housing estate of Bohermore. That was it. And Galway was quite small. And there was always a tradition down here of boating, boat fishermen, people in boats for pleasure, little randans, and you could hire out a boat for something like 2 shillings an hour and row up as far as Menlo, right? And that was a big tradition in them days. And of course, there was a tradition of the rowing and the regatta. The regatta was always held around June, July, and people would come from all over, down from Enniskillen and Belfast for big rowing crews. It's still a big tradition here. There's about 8 rowing clubs here in Galway, in the city itself, and a strong tradition, and it's great to see it, like youngsters getting involved, and it's got very popular young ladies, young girls now, and we have a cross mixture now of everybody. We have the young athletes, then we have people who are paraplegic, people who are in wheelchairs and artificial limbs and things like that. They have their own kind of boats, because they have to be taken out of wheelchairs and lifted in and lifted out. And then there's the ladies who formed a new club there about 5 years ago. They're all ladies who had some form of cancer. So to recover, they got boats and they row up on a Saturday and a Sunday, just purely for leisure, to get out to exercise, and it's proven very successful. So then across around Woodquay itself, it has changed that. There's not the number of families living in the houses there. There was all these rented out houses and that kind of stuff. Things have changed from that point of view. Oh, sure, it was great fun. Once we came home from school, and our school, as I was showing you earlier on, was only about 6 doors down from our house. It was a small school. My mother would stand at the door with her towel and togs, and we'd go up to the railway station, and beside the railway there was a small walkway. It still is there, up to Soldiers Beach. There was a separate beach up there at the back of the military barracks, and we used to walk up there and swim up there because there was a raft. So you had that. Then at the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, there was only about 4 or 5 cars in Woodquay owned. A few cars would come in for mass, but mass is over. You could play football up and down the street. Play hurling down in the green that I showed you, the green. We used to always do that there. And then you had the plots. So there was always a lot of activity. And as I showed you, the old railway line, the trees are very, very big now. But in them days, they were quite small. So you used to go down there doing Tarzan, jumping from tree to tree and swinging out of the... What I thought was pure madness. But you were always out. Because in them days, there was no television. We had no television. There might be the radio, all right, but otherwise you were out and you were down playing hurler and you were playing football, or the girls were down playing hopscotch, put the little lines on the footpath, and they'd hop this and hop that and hop the other. And there was another thing we used to play was marbles, little glass marbles. You play a pot, or you play them in the side of the gutter. You roll a marble down and go, and then you got near enough to it and you say, well, I'll get it in 2 spans with my fingers like that. And if you got in 2 spans, that marble was then yours. So some guys might have 100 marbles, but it was a big. And another thing was cad. I said even to a local guy there, I don't remember cad, John. I said you had a stick, you paired a stick on 2 ends of it, and you put it standing in the gutter like that, and then you flipped it. And if somebody caught it in midair, you were out and they were in. If it fell, you'd say, I put it from here to this far side in so many belts. So you hit it like that with the big stick and bang, belt it. And if you didn't get it over in the number of times you said you would, you were short, you were also out. There was penalty. So there's all them kind of games that were just imagination. And then there was just running around the blocks, and we had dressing. We used to go dressing. Dressing was where you had a car tire or a bicycle tire and a stick. And you went down, 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 and 3 or 4 you'd line up and you'd go up around the block and keep on, whoever won. And you'd steer it with the stick either side. It was a skill in itself. And again, that was our form of entertainment in them days, we've got much more sophisticated since then. But even the kids now, they seem to spend most of their time inside, watching on the thing or on television. So from that point of view, things have changed. Some of us still go swimming down here in the Steamers Quay. And so I bring my grandchildren there. And quite a few, it's got popular again, swimming down there. People used to like it and thought it's fresh water, it can't be good if it has to be. Fresh water is very nice. One thing about the fresh water, if you get 4 or 5 nice warm days, the temperature of the fresh water comes up quite quickly, much more rapidly than the sea.
What was school like?
School in our school was a 3-teacher school. The headmaster was Tomás McOchy. He was a madman for Irish. He bait the Irish into it. If you couldn't learn the Irish, God help you, you'd get the cane. There was no such thing as, he had a cane, like, the cane Charlie Chaplin used to have, the walking stick. That was what he had. And you get 3 on each paw, or you might get a belt across your bare legs. And then there was the lady teacher. She was very nice. There was Mr. Blunny and Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, he was a very funny man. And he had a face like, that British actor, Sidney James. That kind of a face. It was just look at him, he was funny, And Sid James was but Morris. And there was only 3 schools, 3 classrooms in it. And then there was a hall. And in the hall there was a small stove. So everybody had to take their turn sitting in the hall. And then at school then, you could go down to the plots and play hurling, or there was a big wall, and you'd play handball. A thing you don't see done nowadays. Handball was very, very popular in the 50s and 60s. It's just kind of died out now. Oh, my journey in acting was very simple. I went to St. Mary's College. And in St. Mary's at the time, there was a great tradition to do shows as Gaeilge. So there was boarders in St. Mary's, 280 boarders, and there was about 90 day boys. But no one bothered much with the poor day boys. You were just kind of tolerated. Everything was for the boarders, including the plays and the musicals. They used to always do, at Christmas time, a Gilbert and Sullivan. Gilbert and Sullivan wrote about 12 operas, I think. And so this priest decided he'd do something for the day boys. Now, all the other guys who were the board, they had good Irish because they're from Connemara and the Aran Islands and Donegal. Us townies, our Irish wouldn't be as good, we wouldn't have the bloss. But we were better actors. We were more sophisticated and complimentary. We could do things. So I remember the first play I did, I was playing the part of Maria, a girl. And then the second part was a girl. And when we finished in Mary's then, the Taibhearchas here in town, it's the National Irish Orchlan or Shuntan na Gaeilge, founded in 1928. And there was a guy down there, he was the resident artistic director, and he knew 1 or 2 of us. And they were doing a pantomime one year. And he called down to my house and said, you're free now, so would you not come down and go into the pantomime and be part of the chorus and do little bits? So I got involved. And then I went into my first play down there after that. I'm involved with the Taibhearch up until from 1962 to 2019, doing operas, revues, pantomimes. Every year we did a pantomime in Irish, which was written locally about local events that happened around town. Or for instance, to be a skit now at the moment on Trump, for instance. You'd have a big scene on Trump and taking the mick and adding this, that and the other. And so I got involved with that. And then as I left school, I went into insurance. And one day I was in a show in the town hall, and this man came up and he said, look, we're badly stuck in Dungoura Castle. One of our chaps has resigned. He's gone back to England. And we need someone to do the part of the butler. So I said, I know you can do a bit of acting, you can give out poetry, you can sing, and you can chat to people. So I got my first term out there, I think it was 1973, working from May until September. And some nights we do 2 shows, a banquet at 6 o'clock, another banquet at 8 o'clock, and there'd be 70 people at a banquet. So it was all very good, and of course the ladies all had real fine old medieval costumes, and I had a big collar on me and all, jilly. But it was handy. We also got paid for it, of course, which is a nice part of going there. And then after that, we got involved with the Renmore Musical Society, Patricia Musical Society, Knock na Cat, all that kind of thing, bits and pieces. So I was toting it up one day, I was going through a box, 136 different shows. Between pantomimes, straight plays, musicals, reviews. But it was fun. It's like you play golf. I played theatre, just for the fun of it.
How has Galway changed since you were a young fellow?
Well, of course, the first thing is the population has got way, way bigger now. Now the population must be around 80,000 now or so. And there's a big student population. Now, in the summertime, you have a big thing, because for the season from May until up September, or even more now, you have a big influence of people who come in for the Galway races, the Arts Festival, the Film Festival, the Oyster Festival. I don't know how many different festivals. And there's a big influence of people for that. And then when they die down, the students are all back in September. So you have about maybe 20,000 students in both University College Galway and the GMIT up on Headford Road. So that of itself brings up the activity and the thing. And it's a busy city. At the moment now, it's nearly got out of control because the traffic is unbelievable. It's not big enough to take the amount of traffic that's going, like, you know. Now, if you're going anywhere in the morning, you want to be on the road by 7:30, 8:15. If I want to go to the far side of town to visit my son, I'm as well to leave until about 7 o'clock in the evening, because otherwise you're just fighting the battles. So from that point of view, it was. Now, the other changes that happened, we used to have 2 markets. Up in Woodquay on a Saturday, there'd be the potato market. There wasn't any lorries, horse and carts, and farmers would come in selling their turnips, their potatoes, cabbage, and they sold greens, cabbage plants. There'd be maybe 50 or 60 in a plant, and bought them home, and then you planted them, and they turned into cabbages. And they also sold turf up on the top of the street there. And another thing, and I said it to somebody one day, and I said, "What's that?" I think we used to call them reeds. They were long sally rods, and used to be bought for thatching. They used to be sold. Now that went on, and then eventually it dwindled down to nothing. The other market was the chicken market, the egg market. The egg market we used to call it, because all the ladies just come in with their baskets and their eggs. They used to make all their own buttermilk, freshly made, and the lady would be there, and she'd open up the greaseproof paper, and she'd give you a little tin and you taste it. Yeah, I'd buy that. So people bought, we used to call it country butter, as against the butter that you bought in the shop. So it's country butter, nice fresh country eggs, and of course the veg was all fresh, cut that day. That kind of change, and there's also things done, there's also stalls done, selling every kind of different food and everything, but it's not what it used to be. And of course, Christmas time, from 2 weeks to 2 weekends before Christmas, the place it'll start down St. Patrick's School, and it'll come way down to the Connacht Tribune, where people came, and they were selling live turkeys, live geese, live ducks. And you went down and bought your turkey or your goose. My father always didn't like turkey, it was too dry, he says. The meat was too dry. A goose. And even a goose now, if you were to buy a goose now, a new goose, it's quite costly. But again, that's kind of died down, because you go to the supermarket now, you just buy it. But half the fun was going down and picking out the goose, like picking him up and feel him, he's all bone, leave him down. Pick up this other one. You pick up the other, he's all fat, but it could be an old gander, it could be 20 years old. You could be cooking him for the whole day and he'd still be as tough as nails. But they were all kind of memories you had,
Can you remember when you would have been at your happiest?
I suppose at my happiest when I was a youngster in Woodquay, and I was running around wild, running here, there. Like, there was 4 of us in it, 4 brothers, and we were as mad as hatters, And my mother always kept us out. You came in the morning, you had your breakfast, you went to school. After you came to school, you were given your hurl or your togs, and your rest. Stay out, come in the evening for your tea, and then you come out. And then she'd come out into the street, she'd shout, the whole lot of us, and you were expected to be in then and ready for bed. So of course we'd be up in bed, and then we'd be acting the maggot and telling stories and things like that. Or you might have had a row with some other guy or whatever. It was all kind of good fun, innocent fun in a way. But lifestyle and life's attitudes and our values were completely different to what they are nowadays. I think the younger people nowadays expect too much. They seem to think they're entitled. Give it to me. In my day, you were told, if you want it, go and get it yourself.
What would be your proudest moment, proudest memory?
Proudest memory. That's a hard one to say. I suppose when I graduated from St. Mary's College, then I went to England, which was a nice thing at the time, getting out of Galway. And then when I got my first job in insurance, and then after 2 years, I got my ACII. I became an associate of the Chartered Insurance Institute in London. And not long after getting that, I became an inspector. I was an inspector at 21, which was unheard of in them days. I remember when someone broke her one day, said, "What? Are you the new inspector?" I said, "I am, yeah." "Oh, Jesus, they'll be sending us out in nappies soon." They'd be sending you out in nappies soon, like I was kind of young, you know. But they were all proud moments and achievements. And then I became president of the Insurance Institute, which was another nice honour. And again, I remember I was over in Bristol at a conference, and this man came up to me, Bill Blewett, who was the general manager of the Refuge Insurance Company. You know, and he comes up to me, he was only a small guy, and he looks at me and says, "Mr. Forde." I said, "Yes, sir." "Oh my God, and you're the president in Galway." I said, "I am, yeah." "My God, they make very young presidents over in Éire this weather." I said, "That they do." And it was gas, and he said to me, "Well, I'm coming over as the guest speaker to your dinner." I said, "That's great. Well, how do I get to Galway?" "Oh, this is very simple. I said, you fly over to, fly like this over to Dublin, and then it says, Micheál O'Grifa will meet you, and you get on the train, and you go, choo, 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 choo. And there was guys at the bar listening to all this shit. And when the train stops, I says, "You come out onto the platform, and I'm there to meet you, and I'll bring you into the hotel." This is exactly what happened. Because when the train comes, there's doors at the back of the Great Southern. So when he came down, the man rang and said, "Open the doors." "There you are." Wasn't that very simple? And he started bursting laughing. I didn't know what to think of you, to believe you or not. But they were all great days, like, you know. And well, I remember myself and my wife actually met on stage in the town hall in a show called The Desert Song, for which, what's the famous song? That's it. "My heart is broken, what can I? My heart is broken, but what can I? Such pride inside me has woken. I'll do my best not to cry by and by, when the final farewell must be spoken. I'll join the Legion, that's what I'll do, and in some far distant region, where human hearts are staunch and true." I don't give you any more, but that's the famous song from that one. And we were in a lot of shows then after that. And my granddaughter and grandson are big into doing shows now as well.
So you met your wife on that play?
Met her over in the town hall. And I was going out with some other ladies at the time. And she was going out with some other fellow in Burren. And as it happened, her father had come down to see the show. And she introduced me to the father, you know. And I was going, and we just kind of got to know each other after a while. And that was it. 50 years on. On the 18th of January, 50 years married.
Congratulations. And how many children?
3 children, 9 grandchildren. And to celebrate, on the 3rd of February last, to celebrate the 50th wedding anniversary, my wife's birthday, which I can't tell you what year it is, and my youngest daughter, my youngest child, was 40. Brought them all off to Lanzarote, to Matagorda, all 17 of us. 8 adults, 9 grandchildren. And there was an Englishman across the pool for a few hours. He was looking over, he'd laugh, and he'd wave and wave. And I go, "Excuse me," I said, for asking. He said, "Are they all your family?" I said, "Yeah." "And how many are you in?" 17. Christ almighty, how'd you organise that? Get them all to come at the one date. Another proud achievement. No, I must say that was a once in a lifetime thing.
Of course. Did you have any regrets?
No. No regrets. If I died tomorrow, I'd say I died happy.
Fantastic. And okay, lastly then, if you could go back in time and give a young John Forde one piece of advice, what would that be?
Enjoy life, be honest, have nice friends, and work hard.